I do want to address Tony Blair, the butcher of Britain, alongside his war on terror days with W. And of course, he's now a part of the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace. This is what Tony Blair decided to stick his head up for. This is how he's decided to get involved in politics again. And here's what he had to say at that big scam of a meeting regarding the new Board of Peace.
Decades, Gaza's governance has been characterized by extremism, corruption, ineffective institutions, and the complete absence of a route to prosperity for the Gazan people. Yet, as President Trump recognized, its potential has always been vast. 25 miles of Mediterranean coastline, proximity to great regional and global markets, and a young, dynamic population with a median age of 19. So today we set out profound changes necessary to rebuild Gaza for Gazans.
Okay. If there's one thing we know, they are not rebuilding Gaza for Gazans. They are rebuilding Gaza for rich Zionist Jewish aristocrats. And Tony Blair can only so happily go along with it, just as he went along from day one with the so-called war on terror and the invasion of Iraq and many other for-profit wars that came as a result. And remember, Tony Blair is a liberal. So make no mistake, this guy is not even a Tory. When it comes to war and peace, especially when it's on behalf of Israel, there is no political ideology. It's all one universal ideology, and they all speak the same language. And Mr. Blair, just because he's a Brit and thinks he's sophisticated to talk about genocide in such a calm, eloquent, and desirable way that wouldn't dare offend the average person, well, just because you're a Brit doesn't make you smart. And just because you're from the South don't make you dumb. Unless you're George W. Bush. Talk about an interesting odd couple that found common ground on behalf of the war machine. But in reality, they found common ground on behalf of Israel. And that's what this is all about.
Gaza not as it was, but as it should be, including its governance, effective public institutions serving the people, a business environment where enterprise flourishes, an education system educating the young for tolerance and achievement, and a tech-enabled society making the most of the digital revolution. This is a vision of Gaza as part of a Middle East at peace, not a phony piece of declarations no one means and agreements no one intends to keep, but a genuine commitment to a region where, whether you're a Muslim, Jew, Christian, of any faith or none, you can rise by your own efforts and feel your government by your side, not on your back.
Okay. Yeah, the energy that is coming from Mr. Blair is definitely one of bourgeoisie talking to the proletariat. Just give us all you've got, and daddy government will take really good care of you. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what exactly has happened over the past 2+ years? And again, I shouldn't even phrase it that way, because the genocide, the true genocide of the Palestinian people has been going on since 1948. You could even go a step further and simply say 1967 if you want to be completely technical about it. That being said, why would you even consider the prospect of believing what he's saying? And this again gets back to the brazen nature within which the aristocratic globalist class operates on. It's one thing if you want to have a Brit convey a message of prosperity. You pick Tony Blair? I mean, as I've said, and this is going to be the universal theme of the evening over the next few hours. The complete lack, I would say, of awareness, the complete lack of awareness on the part of the aristocratic globalist ruling class. They truly believe that we are simply to take our medicine and accept it. And Tony Blair is already willing and able to do so, no matter how much blood he has on his hands. That's for the pores. That's in the past. It's over with now. And as has been pointed out by Zizou, they don't want to call it Palestine, but it is Britain-mandated Palestine. So they know all too well. We'll finish it up.
That is the vision behind President Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza, and it remains the best, indeed the only hope for Gaza, the region, and the wider world.
Remember, the only people who are allowed into rooms like this are ones that agree with the globalist project, that they believe that this is the way that it has to be. We are bringing peace, prosperity, and freedom to the world. But just as Klaus Schwab says of the WEF, you will own nothing and you will enjoy it. Just as you will accept your genocide as we mow the lawn to its totality. And of course, later on this evening, we'll be speaking with Anthony Aguilar regarding Mike Huckabee and how they truly let the cat out of the bag about what the intentions of the actual project, the Greater Israel Project, which it has always been. There is no gray area here. Now, while Mr. Blair is definitely somebody that, as I've said, would probably be inclined to sell this idea to people, you have another person who was at this event that decided he was going to make his voice heard. You all know who Marc Rowan is, former business associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that's right. Marc Rowan is a part of the board of peace. B-O-R-E-D, mind you, is how we should spell it. Here's what Mr. Rowan had to say.
Plan to do this by gathering Gaza's productive assets in one unified structure. This will allow independent, professional, conflict-free management of the resources to benefit the Gazans.
Could we just take a moment to acknowledge just how crass and ostentatious the President of the United States truly is? Did they put a Make America Great Again hat on every single delegate's chair or right in front of where they sit? It sure looks like it. Welcome to 1984, baby.
This will also enable expeditious planning and zoning and not fragmented projects that do not contribute to an economic whole. The potential here is tremendous, but it has to start somewhere. The start is in Rafah, where, as you heard, that will be the first place security is deployed. The plan is 100,000 homes for 500,000 residents plus $5 billion of infrastructure. Over time, 400,000 homes for the entirety of the population with more than $30 billion of infrastructure. Let me put it in financial terms. This is not a problem of money or collateral.
How could it be when you control the banking system and you control the money supply? Of course, it's not a problem. Remember, money is an illusion. I want everybody to understand this. And I want everybody to understand that while I am not a financial advisor, I know a thing or two about investing. And what I can assure you is that projects like this will continue to devalue the US dollar. There's a reason why BRICS is the answer to US hegemony worldwide. Projects like this accelerate the inevitable demise of American empire that much faster. Because the thing you have to remember about these globalists, ladies and gentlemen, is that while they may be Jewish Zionists living in the United States, they don't give a damn about what happens to our country. That's why they live off the grid. That's why they live in other parts of the world. And if things get bad here, they'll just go somewhere else. They can hoard different forms of currency, different forms of wealth that the average person can't get their hands on. We are at the mercy of what these animals are doing to our country and to the world. So when we say that we need revolutionary change, we mean exactly what our show's title is. Now, does this get us in trouble with the powers that be over at Google? Oh, absolutely it does. Have you noticed how suppressed our channel has been for the past few days since we dropped that banger of a clip with Marc or Kimberly about LeBron James? Remember, this is kind of like why they don't actually ban channels outright like they temporarily did with a friend of the show, Guy Christensen. You see, a ban draws way too much attention to the problem. But if you suppress and shadow ban, then all you could do is complain. But in reality, that's the best medicine, because they can say, well, we never actually banned you. We made sure nobody could see you, but it's ostensibly the same thing. We're not going to quit, and we're going to keep talking about this. Just as Mr. Rowan is going to keep talking about his wonderful plans for the genocided Palestinians.
This is a problem of peace. The coastline alone, $50 billion of value on a conservative basis. The housing stock, more than $30 billion as rebuilt. The infrastructure, more than $30 billion. $115 billion of value. It just needs to be unlocked and financed.
Great.
Keep in mind, this is a financial associate of Jeffrey Epstein that's talking at this event, that is making this pledge about what they're going to be doing in Gaza. Like I said, the thing about the aristocratic Zionist ruling class is that they will always double, triple, and quadruple down on their ideology and on their financial, economic, social, political goals. This doesn't change anything. They want you to pretend like this isn't going on. Somebody even mentioned the other day the fact that Trump is making his formal announcement that we're totally going to release all the information about aliens. Yeah, everybody had a good laugh at that for about 5 minutes. But no, we're going to get back to what's really important here. What's important here is exactly what's going down. What's going down is the dismantlement of the Palestinian people and all that they've held dear for thousands of years. And as Jen has pointed out, the odds that there's going to be 2 million dead in the desert just grows exponentially by the day. And the drastic undercount of how many have been killed, starved, maimed, etc. It's got to be at least 750,000 people. And this was a number that we were discussing several months ago. So Lord knows where they are now. And we know that they're still bombing the hell out of them. And we know that they're preventing aid from getting where it needs to go. Now, they haven't gotten every nook and cranny. But trust me, just as we know Gaza has been completely devastated, decimated, and outright destroyed. Now they're moving on to the West Bank. And now they've annexed the West Bank. And what do you think's coming next? They're probably going to end up doing the same thing. And how are they going to do it? Well, you know, there's these things called false flags. And they tend to happen a lot. So who's to say that that's not coming? We've only got like, half a dozen aircraft carriers in West Asia now. But we know what's coming next. So this is just the beginning.